And I wanted to jump on here and talk to you about something. So just a quick question. Quick question before we get started. I'm just curious, like, have you ever had a stretch in real estate where closings felt just like totally random, right? Like you're like, oh my gosh, this listing came out of nowhere, and oh my gosh, this buyer just kind of fell out of the sky, and then things are moving along, and then the next month it's totally quiet. Like you have nothing going. You're starting to get nervous again because even though you're working all the time, nothing is happening, right? That happens to my coaching clients, and I actually remember thinking at one point in my career, like, why does this feel so hard if I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to be doing? If I'm doing all these things, like I'm making calls and I'm door knocking and I'm, it wasn't social media, right? That didn't come on strong until recently, but door knocking and sending out mailers and, going to networking events. And I'm just doing all of these things. And it's like, I feel so freaking busy and things are just not hitting. I'm not building a consistent business. So one of my coaching clients I was talking to today, and please feel free to comment on this. I'd love to hear your comments. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't necessarily feeling unmotivated. And I definitely wasn't sitting around doing, absolutely nothing. I was busy, but the income didn't feel steady. So raise your hand if you guys feel that way. Like you're working all the time, you get all this stuff, but the income is not steady. And it just seemed to me like every deal I had to start from scratch again. And if you're in that 7 to 15 deals a year, maybe 7 to 18 deals a year range, this is part of what nobody really talks about. Like when you get close enough to taste momentum, but the consistency you have is not enough for you to build trust that you can depend on that money every single month coming in. And I don't know about you, but it used to stress me out when I just did not have that consistent pipeline. And so what I didn't understand back then, and I was actually just talking to a client about this morning, one of my coaching clients, is that it wasn't that I needed more ideas. Like I get this question a lot. Becky, when you talk to other agents, what are they doing to get business? Right? We're like so connected to ideas. I'm going to try that. If it's working for them, I'm going to try that. And, oh, that's working for them, so I'm going to try that. And we try for a hot second. And if it doesn't work, we try something else, right? So when you're doing a lot of things, we lack consistency in getting those things to work because we're like a squirrel. We're running here, we're here, and we're looking for something to stick. So am I speaking something that you might understand, right? Like if you're a real estate agent and you're in that zone, this has got to be resonating for you. And I don't know about you, but I kept thinking that the answer was just to start adding something new, like a new lead source, a new script, a new plan, new, so that I could just try something new. But what I really needed to do was to get consistent on one thing. So I had to get real on this one thing, the difference between talent and consistency. At a certain stage in the real estate business, talent will get you in the door, but structure is absolutely what keeps you going, right? And I hate this. I don't know if I'm looking at the camera, if I'm looking at my screen, looking at myself talking. So if this is not working for you, I'm sorry. We'll fix it another time. But again, let me say that again. At a certain stage in this business, talent will get you through the door. Talent will get you 5, 6, 7 deals a year. Just for the people and you're talking about it, and it's your talent. But structure and having a structured plan is what keeps you moving forward. And honestly, I didn't need to grow my business. I needed a lead gen lever that I could repeat on just over and over and over again. So one of the things that I work on with my coaching clients is that they come to me and they might be very busy because they might be doing a fair number of transactions. But the reality is they don't know what works for them because they're not doing something repeatable over and over. And honestly, that was my problem. I hate doing the same thing over and over. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not interesting. It's coming in doing the same job every day, right? But that's how you get into momentum. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, okay, hear you, Becky, loud and clear. You've been talking about it for 5 minutes. But what do I actually do with this information? And I just want to tell you one thing is to smart smaller than you think, right? So for the next 30 days, I want you to pick one lead source and decide the exact time you're going to work that lead source. And instead of tracking closings, track whether or not you showed up for that lead source. So here's a for example. Let's say you have a database of 225 names. If you made one decision to contact and have a conversation with 20 of those database people, names, every single day, you will touch your entire database within 30 days, actually within 2 weeks. And I guarantee you, if you do that every day, Monday through Friday, you get the weekends off, you absolutely will bubble up business and ask those folks for a referral. And then you can start working that database, that 200-person database would absolutely just start building and building, and you would build a pipeline and you would get more momentum, right? That's one example. And you might say, well, Becky, I don't have a really big database. Actually, I don't even know where my database is because I believe it's in this handy dandy little thing. So if you don't have a CRM, take my advice, get one. It'll organize you. But let's just say, for example, you want to run open houses and you don't have enough listings on your own. So every day you spend a certain amount of time contacting other agents in your company to find out if you can run their open houses for the weekend and keep the leads. That's how you continue to build a business. And you just focus on that one thing, just chopping away at it until you start getting a pipeline of business. And this is how you build trust with yourself, that you're like, okay, I can do this. I can make this a consistent business that I can depend on a return from my effort. So if this sounds familiar to you, I want you to just hear this. You're not behind, right? You're not broken. You're not behind. You're just at a stage where structure really starts to matter in your business. And if you want help building something simple that you can actually stick to, that's what I do. So subscribe to me here at this YouTube channel. I'm going to be coming live 1 day a week, and then I'm going to upload coaching sessions or training sessions that I'm going to be doing twice a week. And these are actually Zoom lives that for free you can actually get on as well. And that will be 3 teaching opportunities that I could have with you for the week that cost you nothing. You know, consistency changes everything. Excuse me. Consistency changes everything. Not overnight. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will over time change it for good. And you'll constantly then remind yourself of how easy this business can be, right? It's pretty simple. It may not be easy all the time, but once you get into momentum and you get into consistency, it does get pretty easy on how to find folks that you can talk to. So I'd like for you to kind of think about that. Give me your feedback. What do you think? What are your challenges? Where do you need help? I'm also going to have some Zoom links down in the description for you where you can jump on free Zoom calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays every single week. I'll be on and would love to chat with you. I hope this has been helpful to you. Get your Monday started straight and well, and figure out what exactly it is you need to be focusing on this week and the next week and the next week. The one thing that is going to make the biggest difference in your business. Okay. So yeah, good talk. Chat soon.